All right, so I'm going over every problem on this review, but I'm gonna go page by page. So this first video is just the first page. If you don't have any questions on the first page, stop watching now, move on to the video that has the question that you need. But here we go. So the first 6 problems are just working on knowing the ratios for trig. So the sine of A, when you're looking at A, you should know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So which side is opposite angle A? That would be 16. Which side is the hypotenuse? That would be 22. Now, make sure you read the directions. This is one of the times when you do have to reduce. You also have to rationalize the denominator. So there's only one of them that has to rationalize the denominator, and we'll get to that one in a little bit. But reducing, you're going to have to do that on every problem. 16 over 22 reduces to 8 over 11. The cosine of A is just adjacent, so 2 radical 57 over 22. I can reduce that one. The outside numbers do reduce to 1 and 11. So I'm not even going to write the 1. Square root of 57 over 11. That one's good because the radicals in the numerator don't need to rationalize. The tangent of A is the one you have to rationalize. So the tangent of A is the opposite over the adjacent. So 16 over 2 radical 57. I'm going to go ahead and reduce it first and make it 8 over the square root of 57. You wouldn't have to do that first, but I'm going to. And now I have to rationalize because you can't have a radical in the denominator. So multiply by the square root of 57 on top and bottom. What that does on the bottom is it makes 57 squared, and then the square root and the squared cancel, and I'm left with just 57 in the denominator. Numerator is just 8 radical 57. And the denominator is 57. Can't reduce that any further. 8 and 57 are good. So that one's done. Looks disgusting, but it's done. Now we're going to change gears and look at angle B. So what side is opposite angle B? That would be 2 radical 57 over the hypotenuse is 22. So that reduces to the square root of 57 over 11. That should look familiar because we had that for the cosine of A. And there's a, I wouldn't say a theorem, but basically the cosine of an angle is equal to the sine of the other acute angle in a right triangle. You can see that when I do cosine of B. So the cosine of B is the adjacent, so 16 over the hypotenuse, which is 22, reduces to 8 over 11. These two are the same. So the cosine of an angle is equal to the sine of the other acute angle in a right triangle. Okay. Tangent of B is just the reciprocal of the tangent of A, but the tangent of A is nasty looking. Let's just do it, just looking at the picture. It's the opposite side, so 2 radical 57 over the adjacent side, which is 16. Reduce it, square root of 57 over 8. All right. What is the measure of angle A to the nearest degree? Now, you can use any of the first three problems really to set up your equation. I would go with the smart choice here, the one without the radical. You don't have to. You could do the radical and get the right answer. It's just going to be harder to type in your calculator. So I'm going to take the first problem, so sine of A. Sine of A equals 8 over 11. To get A by itself, we're going to do the inverse sine on the calculator. You should know how to do that by now. You get 46.65 rounded to the nearest degree would be 47 degrees. Okay. Number 8. Clear all this stuff. Number 8, I just talked about this when I talked about these two things being equal up here. The cosine of an angle is equal to the sine of the other acute angle in a right triangle. Well, by the way, this is talking about a different problem. It's not talking about the ABC at the top. If I have a triangle with a 40-degree angle, a right triangle with a 40-degree angle, the other acute angle is going to be 50 degrees. And we know that the cosine of an angle is equal to the sine of the other acute angle in a right triangle. So the sine of 50 degrees is what you would do here. All right. 2 more problems for this video, and then I'll move on. So these are both pretty basic right triangles. You should have seen actually number 10 before, that was on your quiz. Number 9, nothing tricky here. Hopefully, what you need to see is that you're looking at 48 degrees, and now you just have to classify x and 5. So with 48 degrees, this is h, the hypotenuse. X is the opposite side, and 5 is the adjacent side. So I'm not going to be using the hypotenuse, so O and A is tangent. The tangent of 48 degrees equals x over 5. Multiply both sides by 5. Go to the calculator, 5 tangent 48. You should get 5.55, which is 5.6. Side length's the nearest tenth, yep. So x is 5.6. Number 10, we're looking for an angle here. We have the hypotenuse is 23. With x, 11 is opposite. We don't have anything for the adjacent, so we're not using adjacent. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So the sine of x equals 11 over 23. We just did one of these a little bit ago, but in case you don't remember, inverse sine. I get 28.57. It says to the nearest, angle measures to the nearest whole degree, so 28.5 would be 29 degrees. It's a really bad 9. There you go. All right, so that is the end of the first video. Hopefully that helped. Yeah, move on to the next video if you need it.